Hey guys, thanks for stopping by my channel today. I really appreciate you being here. I am doing a soap video today, but this soap is in honor and in memory of my dad. So for those of you that are not aware, I did lose my dad in August of this year, and it was a hard time for all of us in the family. I just felt like I wanted to do something, and as a soap maker, I make soap. And so I had an idea to create a soap to gift to my family, so they just have something tangible that will make them think of him every time they see it, kind of thing. So it is just a gift for my family. I'm not selling this soap or anything like that. So this video is going to be a bit different in the fact that I am going to be sharing some of my memories and stories about my dad. So I understand completely if you guys are new around here, if you don't really know me, most of you will not know my dad, that you may not be interested in hearing some ramblings of a girl that lost her dad and just wants to share some memories. So I understand if you just want to kind of skip this one, guys. I also really struggled with whether to even tape this. I at first was not going to tape the making of the soap. I came to the conclusion though that he is worth talking about. He's worth sharing, and the family members that are kind of like out, I don't see very often, might enjoy hearing some of my memories and some of my stories that I have to tell. So that is why I decided to go ahead and tape this video. Comment below and maybe give me a favorite story of your dad. I would love to read those, guys. So stay tuned to the making of a golf-inspired soap for my dad. To start off the video, a quick little background on the man that raised me. He and my mom were married for 57 years. Can you believe that? That's a long time. And they met, I think my mom was either 12 or 13 when they met, somewhere in that age, and she did not like him at all. She did not like him. I think it was when she hit about 15, they started dating. My dad was a cool one. He was the black leather jacket, smoking cigarettes, with the grease in his hair. He was all cool, and the man flunked PE because he would not take off his jacket for PE class, so they gave him a he was too cool. Too cool for school. They got married fairly early. I think mom was maybe 18 or 19 when they got married. Dad was a year older, and he went pretty much right into the Air Force, and he was in the Air Force for 8 years. He was a firefighter and an jet mechanic. The firefighting duties is what caused his prostate cancer, the chemicals that they use there. And so that's what he died from, is the prostate cancer. And I think even today, firefighters in general have a higher risk of prostate cancer. So it's just, it sucks. He had really horrible eyesight in one of his eyes, so they would not let him fly. He wanted to fly, but he loved taxiing the planes around on the runway. I remember him telling me that one time, that he just loved that. That was his favorite thing to do, is taxi those jets. I never thanked him for leaving the Air Force. I mean, that seems like a weird thing to say, but he left because every few years he was in a different state, and mom was at home with the three of us by that point, and away from family, away from help, away from friends, which probably bonded their relationship a little bit. But at the same time, being away from your family, huge families on both sides, that was, I believe, quite a difficult decision that he made. And I think that he always had a little bit of regret in leaving the Air Force and only serving for 8 years. I think he would have loved to stay in. And I think, gosh, my life would be so different. Our lives would be night and day to what they are right now if he had stayed in the Air Force. And I never fully appreciated his making that decision and his sacrifice in doing something I think he loved. and the fact that bases had started to shut down at that point. So there was fewer bases for him to go to, and it was a little bit less of a secure situation as well. So that probably helped that along too. That's enough of the pre-soaping chat. Let's get on to making a golf course inspired soap, because my dad was obsessed with golf until the day he died. Literally, until the day he died, he was obsessed with golf. All right, golf, my dad's passion. Who do you call? It's like the Ghostbusters. Who do you call when you need very specific things done for you to design a very specific soap? I call Lisa at I Dream in Soap. She came through so great for me. I am going to throw up here a picture of what I sent her. For one thing, I wanted to know if she thought like this was something I could even handle. I mean, sweet Lisa does watch, I don't know, some of my videos, and so she knows my skill set. I was like, what do you think? This seems like it would be easy enough for me. She said yes, and that she would be happy to make some scrapers for me and whatever. She also fixed it. I couldn't seem to figure out how to get the sand just right. So she came back and she fixed it, and she even sent me in my package cards so that I could then use those as guides in my mold. Very, very sweet. I so much appreciate her coming through for me and fixing my sand to make it look like a real sand trap. I also bought her thing. Guys, if you want a large extruder dish, extruder disc extruder, soap extruder, I don't know what this is called. If you want a large one, I would recommend going and buying one from Lisa. It is almost the same price to get this as opposed to one here in the States. Don't let her being in the UK scare you from purchasing from her, because even with shipping, her prices are wonderful. So I got this, and I got a little crazy on some of her discs. She made me, let me find it. I have it in, oh, Tammy's golf stuff. So I really wanted trees. You really can't have a golf course without trees. So I have the tree little extruder discs and the scrapers for all the different hills. I have like, I don't know, like a thing that these go in here. It's an extender. Comes with it, guys, for free. That's an extra reason why you should just go ahead and get it from her. So for this soap, I had to do Old Spice. Guys, my dad and Old Spice. He used everything there was possibly to use. This soap, I don't know if they had shampoo back then, or the shave soap and the aftershave. And he would leave the shower, the bathroom would just waft that Old Spice scent. So I bought 3 Old Spices to try to find the one that matched my memory of smelling the smell when he opened that door. So the first one I bought was from Nature's Garden. This is NG Original Spice. It's supposed to be a dupe. It is not a dupe. It is not even close. It is not Old Spice. I don't care what anybody says. This is not an Old Spice. It's a nice scent. I will use it. I mean, I'm not going to throw it away, but I do not believe that this is anywhere close to the Old Spice that is in my memory. So then I just bought 2. I mean, I bought these 2 at the same time. I couldn't decide which one I wanted to go with. So this is Oregon Trail Soaper Supply. I've never bought from them before, but it was a recommendation from one of you all. That's closer. It's not exactly it. And then I tried Nature's Oil, our version of Old Spice Fresh. This one was more expensive. This one is it. This one smells the most like Old Spice to me. All right, so I am starting over with this soap. I'm not going to show you the first round, which is what you are seeing up to this moment, because this is my soap. And let me try to get out of the glare. I think I did okay on it, and I almost just left it, but I really felt like I could do better. One of the things is this floating tree out in the middle of the sky bothered me to no end. Everything else was okay, but that floating tree, I totally messed up in when to place the tree. I got a little bit better with my next round, but this one tree has given me fits. So there's that. Another thing that I wanted to improve on is that my tree branch or trunk isn't 100% in the canopy like it should be. Like this one, the tree limb or whatever that would be considered is outside the canopy. So I really think that I was able to get that figured out in my next go. Lastly, I don't think I taped how I fixed this, but the hole-in-one is a little janky looking. I think I did much better on that in the second batch. From here on out, you're seeing my second attempt. So when I talk about a floating tree in that one, that's what I'm talking about. That sucker right there. All right, so here we go. Take two. I'm gonna go ahead and put my honey blush. This is for the sand trap. I don't know exactly where my notes are for all my different colors. Yeah. I'm gonna do about a half a teaspoon for this amount of soap. I'm going to go ahead and blend that in. Hopefully my stick blender won't incorporate a lot of air. I'm going to put my lye water in here. My lye water may be just a little bit warm. And I need to get my fragrance oil, which is right over here on my shelf. Let me go pull this off real quick. Ah, lots of air pockets probably. I'm going to go ahead and keep the walnut shells in there. I'm going to put a fair amount because I do want that speckled to show through. And hopefully it will. Plus it's sand, so it's appropriate. All right, I'm going to stir this in. All right, I'm going to let it thicken up a little bit, guys, and I'll just probably pour it in my mold off camera because it's going to take a few minutes. So guys, I went ahead and scraped the first layer here. It may still just be a tiny bit soft, but it's kind of a mess in there. I'm going to clip my thing until I'm ready to scrape again. So in here for my putting green, I'm using apple green from Micah's and More. I don't know how I'm going to piece together stories and the making of this yet. I'm just going to tell my stories and try to piece them in. I don't know why my getting in trouble is one of my favorite stories with my dad, but it is. My dad was a truck driver. There was like a year, maybe, or a couple years. My grandma lived in this little town called Stylesville. There was like literally nothing in this town but 2 restaurants / bars. That's the only thing I think that was in this town. And a school back in the day. The school had closed, but they still had the playground. So on Friday nights when my dad would come home from the road, we would go up to Stylesville and we would have dinner with my grandma because that's where she worked. And then us kids would go over to the playground and play. Well, one day, my 2 older brothers came to me with a pop and said, "Tammy, we don't want this pop. You want it?" I was like, oh, they love me. They're being so nice. I'm guessing I was 7 or 8, guys. As you can imagine, I was so touched and so happy that they gave me a pop. And I opened that sucker and it just flew everywhere. Of course, they shook it up. And because I am scraping, I did take that further than I normally would if I was trying to do any sort of other design other than like a simple scrape or even a layer. You may know this about me. I am not the most patient person in the world. So waiting for this stuff to set up is painful. All right, I think that's a lovely green color. I like it. So I'm going to take it off of here, off my towels here, and I'm going to pour along this edge over here just so I don't disturb my sand trap. I was devastated. I was very easily hurt my feelings. So I ran to Dad to get those boys in trouble. And he laughed. And he laughed. And he laughed. He thought it was so funny. And that broke my heart all over again. Now wait. A few weeks later, a couple months, I don't know. We were having a thing at the house, right? And we had company over. And he said, Tammy, go get me a beer. Yeah. I wasn't old enough to know not to mess with my dad's beer. I shook that sucker up and stood back and waited for the laughter that never came. He was so mad. Oh my gosh. He was furious with me. And next thing I know, I'm in the corner in trouble, crying because Robert and Michael didn't get in the corner when they did it to me, but I'm in the corner crying while they made a beer run to the town. I don't know if that was maybe their last beer. I don't know. Yeah. So Mom, I believe, let me get out of the corner until we saw him coming up the road. And then she had, Tammy, get back in the corner real quick. I don't know why that, I just giggle every time I think about me getting in trouble for doing that and not knowing not to mess with my dad's beer. I want to thank Lisa for sending me these clips because that is awesome and I love them so much. When this gets firmed up a little bit, I'm going to put my hole-in-one in there and then I'll scrape it after that. All right, my hole-in-one, I need to get it in here, guys. It's getting thick on me. Lisa's going to be so proud of me. Look what I have. I bought it from Amazon. I can't get this off. I don't know if it's supposed to stay on there or not. But look at that. Oh, that's handy. And they kind of grip and just move it right where I want it. Oh, how did I live my life without this for so long? Hopefully I'm not damaging it too much. My dad told military time always. He would never tell us the answer. Like he would say it's 13:22. Well, okay, Dad, well, what time is that really? 13:22, figure it out. Figure it out. That's what he would say, figure it out. So we had to figure it out. And so now I know military time. But his watch, his phone, everything was military time in his entire life. The other thing he would say is look it up. So my dad, quite intelligent, and he would use words that we didn't know what they meant. And I was like, well, what's that mean? You know, and he'd say, look it up. He would never tell us the meaning, and we had to go look it up. We had to go get the dictionary off the shelf and look that word up. And I think my brother stopped asking what words meant. I never did. Looking back, it was so annoying when you're a kid to have to drag that dictionary out because you don't know what a word meant. But looking back, I love that. I love that he did that to us and for us. I have my tree, my first tree ready. Everything else is ready. And I'm just going to go for it. Oh, I was supposed to put the color in here. So this is the first hill. Let me go ahead and get the color. I'm using Rustic Essentials Caribbean Kiss. I'm saturating these colors just a little bit more than I normally would just because this has a very slight discoloration to the fragrance oil that I'm trying to combat. All right, I'm going to let it thicken up a little bit before I pour it and get my next batch ready on the back counter. Really, it's not taking too long. I'm just in a bit of a, I don't know, roll with it, like a process here. This has a nice trace on it now, so I am just going to go ahead and pour it in. I'm going to lean it a bit, and so it sets up on me where I want it to. All right, I'll bring you back when it's time to scrape. My dad, if there was one other love other than golf in his life, it was gadgets. He loved gadgets. We were the first of our friends to have an Atari. You know, we never got to play with it because Dad was always on it. We always had to beg for a turn. My brother Jesse, he had a computer in the home before any of us. I'm sure it was Dad's more than Jesse's, but it was Dad's excuse to get a computer was, oh, it was for my brother Jesse. you know, I got his iPad after he died, and he had the pen and the keyboard and the case, and he had all the gadgets that went with the iPad. And he loved computers. As an adult, I would call my dad if warning that come up or something wasn't working with my computer. 5 years ago, I was calling Dad. Just like, Dad, what does this even mean? He would be building computers before it was a thing that people did. You know, he would read the computer manuals. I think he took them on the road with him and would read them. In goes my tree. And it's just going to set up a little bit. It doesn't have to be completely submerged. It's just going to be in there. Just like that. It's a little more forward this way as opposed to the edge here. I may use my handy dandy tool and see if I can get it moved over just a little bit. But I'm messing up my green here a little bit by doing that. So I don't want to do it too much. I think it's going to be good. So this green that I have here is the same Caribbean Kiss with a little bit of jungle green mixed in. So I wanted just a darker shade of this same color. And I really like it. I think it works good. It's about a 50-50 blend of the two. Okay, I messed up again, but I'm not gonna worry about it too much. So what I did is I placed my tree, and I was really supposed to place my tree after I poured this and scraped this and then placed it. So, but I was afraid, I'm just afraid that I'm gonna have a floating tree again. So I'm gonna call it good. I don't think I'm gonna scrape this side. I don't wanna take my tree out, because if I take my tree out, I'm gonna have all kinds of air pockets and I won't find that same groove I have it in. I'm just gonna pour and try to get almost up to my tree line this way, but not quite, and call it good. Just a little bit of a tilt on this. Nothing crazy this time. Just help me pour and stay away from that tree line up there. But I do remember one Christmas, we go in and there is this table with this computer. Guys, it was amazing. It had the screen and the keyboard and the tab. I mean, it was we're talking in the 90s, right? I was married at this point. I was fairly young. I think I was probably in my mid to late 20s, if that. So I was probably more mid-20s actually. But we walk in at our Christmas at my mom and dad's, and there's this computer. And Dad said, I could not afford to get you guys all a computer. I was able to build this one. The only thing I know to do is we're going to play a game, and whoever wins gets the computer. And we were just like, gosh, I'm sure Jesse won. I don't remember who won the game. I'm sure it was Jesse, because he was always the spoiled one, the baby. But we played the game. I don't remember, guys, I don't remember what game it was, and I don't remember who won. I know it wasn't me. I'm sure us kids were just going at each other trying to win this game. I wish I could remember more about that part of it. But whoever won got the computer, and next thing I know, he's dragging out 3 more computers, and all 4 of us kids got a brand new computer. We were so excited. Again, that was early on. Most people didn't have home computers at this point. It was more of the exception, I think, that people actually had those. And we had that computer for years. He loved his gadgets and he loved computers. I went and when I bought my laptop, I asked my dad to go shopping with me and help me pick out a laptop that I needed, certain RAM. I didn't know what I was buying. And my mom said, are you sure you want to take your dad? He's going to spend your money. And he did. I'm like sweating at the checkout. Like, I think it was $900 for my laptop. It's like, Dad, I've never paid this much money for anything. He also didn't spare any expense, usually when it came to gadgets or computers or iPhones or whatever he had. He was all in and willing to spend the money. I think I get it from him. All right, one layer left, guys. I gotta get my tree in there though. Hang on. I've had more problems with these trees. All right, I'm gonna get my blue layer ready. I had some trees and hole-in-ones left over. So I'm just going to maybe give each bar a tree and a little hole-in-one. Just for interest. Those were just a few memories I had. I have many, many more memories of just, I went to a conference in Chicago one time. This was years ago, probably 11 or so years ago. It came up on my Facebook page. And I was shy as all get out, and I was so nervous to drive to Chicago, and I was nervous about being at this conference and not knowing anybody. Nowhere near like I am today, guys, but I was very, very shy. And my dad drove me to Chicago and stayed with me and just puttered around Chicago while I was in class and hung out with me at night. And without even a moment's hesitation, he was there for me like that. Just anything I needed, he would be there for me. He would always want to take me out for lunch at the hospital because it was cheap. I do work in a hospital that actually has cheap food. I mean, it costs us next to nothing to eat there. And he loved that. He was all in on that. And they give big portions, so he loved it even better. He was an avid walker there towards later in life. When he hit about 70, he started walking. And he walked every single day. Snow, ice, didn't matter. That man would walk miles. So he dragged me out to the nature trail a few times to try to get me to walk. Oh, and he would always send me a wave emoji when he drove by the hospital or something. So just little things that I remember. And, him and Mom always putting their head together when they take a picture. I have a picture. I was about 15 or 16, and I cannot find it. But our heads were together like he and Mom did. And I cannot find that picture. I'm so sad I can't find it. It was one of my favorite pictures. He went to Florida with his brother and, his wife. So the four of them went to Florida. I texted him. I said, hey, Dad, bring me back a bottle of ocean water. I want to try to make soap with like real ocean water, which I did. But I was expecting just a 17-ounce bottle of water. The man bought a gallon jug of drinking water or something and poured it out. Then went in the ocean and tried to fill that thing up. A gallon jug in the ocean trying to put water in there. Oh man. It's just, he was just such a good dad. Just such a good dad. And always showed me love. That was a little hard. All right, let's get a middle piece and look at it. Oh, my tree is a little wonky, but it does look better than the first one, guys. It does definitely look better than the first one. Oh, shoot, my tree's about... I'm so mad at myself right now. That is so close. I just took it too far down. It looks like it's on the green almost. I mean, can you see? It almost looks like it's right there. They don't put trees right next to the green, guys. I'm not an avid golfer, but I know that they don't put trees right next to a green. These are a little bit better. It's a little further away from the green. And it almost looks like there's a mountain there on that. That one is so janky. I know I shouldn't be like dogging it. You guys are going to get on me. That one's good. I like that one. I love this. And the scent is coming through nicely. Very nice. Not perfect, but I'm not perfect. So I think Dad would approve. All right, here is the final bar of Dad's soap. It smells similar to Old Spice. Do I smell this and get immediately, oh gosh, that's Old Spice? No. It has a little bit of a lower usage rating as well, so it's not overly strong. But as far as design goes, I don't have a floating tree anymore, so that's good. I just have a tree that's awfully close to the green, which is not good. Trees aren't meant to be next to the green. Other than that one tree, I think I did pretty good. I think my hole-in-one is better. It's a better shape than this wonky shape. This tree on this side is a little bit more upright, so the tree looks better on this side. I do think I'm going to be making this for Father's Day every year. And I really like the top with the little hole-in-one and the tree. I'm glad I did that, whereas this top I just did nothing for that. So there is my dad's soap. And I picked clouds in the sky. I like that. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with the soap. The hills on this one are much, much better as opposed to this one. So maybe I will just keep getting better with practice, but I am quite happy with where I'm at with this. And I really do like the top. I hope you guys had fun listening to some of my stories and watching me make a soap for my family. And I really just appreciate love and support that you guys give me. I really do love that for my family. Thank you for watching. I love you all so, so much. And maybe I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.